What's crackalacking? It's your boy Baroshmo, just in case you did not know so. And we're here for day 2 draft grades. I will only be looking at day 2. I'm not including day 1. I'm going to save, the draft class grades for another video. So this is only day 2. So if you see a grade you don't like, you're like, hey, what about what we did in the first round? Not really counting that, all right? So chill. Go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up if you enjoy the video. We'll be back again, day 3 for the watch party. This time bigger, longer, more entertaining, I guess. I don't know, man. It's gonna be crazy. So come out, show your support, and hopefully I said go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave that thumbs up. If not, now you know. Let's go ahead and get into it so it ain't too long. Starting with the Arizona Cardinals. Got my notes here, so fret not. But all they had was the second round pick, Rondale Moore. I gave it an A. Pretty simple. I thought it was great value. I would have preferred if they got more of a vertical threat. Rondale Moore hasn't really showed that to his game. Granted, last time we really saw him was 2018. So regardless, they got a great talent at a great price at 49. So gave them an A. Moving on, I gave the Falcons an A as well. I'm going to be pretty generous. I like to give the benefit of the doubt, but I do have some pretty god-awful grades here. But I love what the Falcons did. They traded down. They still got Richie Grant. I love the coverage versatility, whether it's the slot, box, or deep. He can do it all. And then they paired that up with Jalen Mayfield. I'm not that high on Jalen Mayfield, but I don't think that ruins the fact in the second round that they traded down, got Richie Grant. Jalen Mayfield, they said he's going to be a guardian. I think that's fantastic. That's probably where he fits best. So I'm still going to give them an A. On to the Baltimore Ravens. I gave them a B-. I was a little less impressed with the third round because all they had were third-round picks. More so what they did at 104. But I love Ben Cleveland. I think that's a great, great scheme fit for the offensive line. But Brandon Stevens was relatively an unknown, especially to me, till last week. Actually, but he's a very raw prospect. He's only been playing corner for, I think, the last year and a half. A former running back from UCLA, grad transfer to SMU. He's got a lot of good athletic ability, especially the size is great. Like there's some press corner traits right there. I kind of think he might fit better at safety, but I had a 7th round grade on him, so them taking him here kind of devalues how much I love them getting Braun Strowman there at 94. And then at Buffalo, I gave them an A-. I love the value for Carlos Basham. That was an A+ out the wazoo. Him being there, total steal. Granted, I know they took Gregory Rousseau the round before, but he's kind of free. He might be more their interior player, but they really wanted to address the trenches, and they continue to do so with Spencer Brown, who's more of a developmental prospect, which is fine. He's not going to be starting their tackle from day one. They're kind of set there at their tackle positions, but he's good depth for the line. Huge upside, so I went ahead, gave them the A-. On to the Chicago Bears. I gave them an A. I love them trading up for Tevin Jenkins. Immediately, he is your right tackle. He is an improvement over who's their Fant. Yeah, he is an improvement. They're building for the future. I love this with Fields and Jenkins. Unfortunately, Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace might not be around to see the fruits of, this draft's labors. I love what they did. It's an A grade for me. Then the Bengals, they get an A as well. I like the idea that they traded down. I really think Walker Little was their pick, and he got snagged right before them to the Jags. And this is the thing, man. Like, I had the Jags getting Jackson Carman, thinking they're gonna do this whole Clemson reunion, and then Walker Little because of the ties with Paul Alexander to Cincinnati. It happened vice versa. I guess it is what it is, but I like that they got value here for Carman. You could immediately start him at right guard. I like that. He could eventually be your left guard or left tackle, whichever place you want to put him. But then they got tremendous value in Joseph Osai. I like that. It's 69. Nice. It's just great value. They get a pass rusher. Wouldn't mind if they were to address the offensive line once more, and they quite very well could do that on day 3. It's yet to be seen, but they did. I thought they did a phenomenal job here. It's always a win if you trade back and still get a quality player. And then the Browns, they get an A. It would have been an A+ if not for Anthony Schwartz. Anthony Schwartz, he's a track star. He's, hey, you go far. He doesn't really have any wide receiver moves, but he's extremely fast. I get it. Those type of guys you could take a shot at the end of the 3rd round. But them trading up for Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was masterful. I loved it. And that's not going to tarnish. It's not going to, them getting a role specific player, it's not going to tarnish what they got in JOK. He was a 1st rounder in my book. Great job, Browns, man. Y'all are doing good. See, I'm dishing out really good grades here. Really good grades. And they're going to continue. I gave the Carolina Panthers an A+, but hear me out, and I think you'll agree with me. They didn't trade down once, but twice, and still managed to get Terrace Marshall. That is phenomenal. That receiving core looks very deadly. Sam Darnold, I don't know how he doesn't succeed. I can't fathom how. They ended up grabbing Brady Christensen. He might end up just being a guard in the NFL, but a guy with his athletic ability could very well be a solid tackle. It was worth the shot. It's good value. I think I had him at 59 or 60 on my board. And then from the trade down, they get the extra pick at 83 and get Tommy Tremble. That's just scary. I don't even want to imagine what Joe Brady can do with that. I love how they addressed the offense here on day 2. I thought they did a stellar job. A+ from me. Good job. Okay, now we get to the rough part. Dallas, I gave them a C, man. I'm not going to lie. I did not like parts of their draft, mainly the second half. So, Kelvin Joseph, I understand. I understand. There's some high-end play. Alabama. But there's so many inconsistencies with him, along with the character concerns, questioning his passion for the game. But yeah, if you just go to the tape, 1-year starter, it was a roller coaster. He got destroyed by Vandy and Ole Miss. Kind of a roller coaster for me. I loved the Osa Odighizuwa pickup, though. I thought it was phenomenal. And then with pick 84, the pick they got from Philly, which was great, they grabbed Chauncey Golston, which for me was confusing because I thought they could have got a much better player that did the same thing in Cameron Sample. For me, Chauncey Golston was a 5th rounder, and he was more of a value brand, so to speak, Cameron Sample. So that was kind of a head scratcher, but I was like, okay, that's fine. I still kind of like what they're doing here. And then at 99, they grab Nahshon Wright. He was a 7th rounder at best, maybe undrafted free agent. There's like, you like the length, you like the size. He doesn't have good film. That's just the thing. His movement skills are pretty subpar. Like, not a smooth athlete at all. Like I said, 7th rounder or undrafted free agent, they took him here. So I'm giving him a C, man. I'm giving him a C, my first real harsh grade out here. And then the Denver Broncos, I gave a B+. I didn't like that they traded up for Javonte Williams. I love Javonte Williams as a prospect. I don't like the idea of sacrificing draft capital to go up and get a running back, even if he is in that top tier running back in this class. Especially, I know Melvin Gordon, he probably won't be there after next season, and they really only have Royce Freeman, but he doesn't really add nothing to the passing game, so that's all going to be put on Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon is kind of the red zone guy as well. I don't know. I didn't really like that. I wasn't chucking. I was vibing. I didn't like it. But 98, I thought was exceptionally solid because they traded down. They grabbed a spare 3rd, which they ended up using on Brandon Bowen and Quentin Miners. Both very, very solid picks, especially Browning, dude. Like I've been saying, I really think he's an edge rusher. He has very little off-ball experience, so he's coming to a perfect system. And Quentin Miners, watch out, Cushenberry. I think they found your potential replacement. I know some people might be like, he was a rookie. It was one of the worst years I've seen from a center, like, ever. Sorry. Quentin Miners, he might not start right away, but he's probably going to be the guy going forward. Yeah, I gave him B+. I really liked at least their second half moves. Kind of justifies going after a guy like Javonte Williams. So, yeah, now this team really just needs a quarterback. And then the Detroit Lions, I ended up giving an A-. It wasn't initially that way because at first when they picked a Levi Onwuzurike, I was confused. I was like, he's not the top defensive interior on my board. It's very underwhelming, but I guess they're building the trenches. It is what it is. I mean, he was probably going to go in the second round just because he was very highly sought after. Again, because of the athleticism. And then they took Aleem McNeil at 72, and I loved it. I loved it. It was a phenomenal pick. And then suddenly the light just, it clicked on. I was like, because Aleem McNeil, man, he's their nose, he's their big boy, and then the explosiveness on Onwuzurike. That is a deadly combo on the interior. And I was saying it, I love Aleem McNeil. He was my defensive interior 2 in this class. And I knew that he was going to probably fall. He wasn't getting a lot of hype. So instead, they grab Levi Onwuzurike, who they know won't be around there at 72. So they overdrafted him, knowing they couldn't get him later on, knowing they could probably get Aleem McNeil. Phenomenal move. Then they traded down and ended up getting Fatu Melifonwu, who was falling. This guy's got tremendous potential. And suddenly, this team has some talent. I like this. I like this. Dan Campbell, I think you're doing a darn good job. On to Green Bay, I gave him a C-. I hated this draft. I'm not going to lie to y'all. Just Josh Myers, I had an early day 3 grade on him. I get that. I assumed he would have got drafted in the 3rd round. He ended up going at the end of the 2nd. I was like, it kind of is what it is. And then they traded up for AMARI Rodgers, who had a 5th round grade on, because I don't think he's anything special compared to any other slot receiver in this class or in the league. Like, they traded up for that. I don't think this is doing him any favors. I don't think Rod, this ain't going to convince him. I'm just going to say that. I know some people are really high on AMARI Rodgers. I'm just don't happen to be one of those guys. I don't like the idea of trading up for him in the 3rd round. Yeah, so C-. And then Houston, I gave him a B. I think you did. This is as good as you can get doing a rebuild when your first pick is in the 3rd round. So they go Davis Mills. They go Nico Collins. They get a big contested catch guy. They got their Brandon Cooks, who is their deep threat. Davis Mills, he ain't going to be starting anytime soon. He might end up starting because maybe he ends up being their what would you call it? What do you call it when a team their tank quarterback? They throw him in. Let's see what we got in our 3rd rounder just to really get the first overall pick. That might be the case here. I think that you couldn't really do. I don't think you could have really done much of a better job outside of maybe just switching Davis Mills with probably the best talent available. So I gave him a B. I think it's reasonable. The Colts, I gave them a C+ for Dayo Odeyingbo, and I actually really like Odeyingbo, but the torn ACL, I don't think he's gonna be ready by the season, and really he probably is just gonna be a role player initially. Really, I thought this pick should have been tackle. Maybe they think they could get Alejandro Villanueva. Then go receiver. There's a ton of receiving talent. I mean, at this point, I'm trying to remember Terrence Marshall was still on the board at 59. I'm not in love with this pick. I do love the prospect, though. I thought he was going to fall to day 3 just because the ACL tear, couldn't participate in the Senior Bowl and prove his stock. So for me, it's just average. C+ is average for me. And then the Jaguars, I gave them an A-. I really started to come around to what they did here with Tyson Campbell, Walker Little, Andre Sisco, because these are guys with huge upsides. Huge upsides. I love at first, I was kind of confused with the Campbell pick, but I was like, you know what? Adding help to that secondary, especially the corner position, you can't go wrong with that. Can't go wrong with that. Walker Little, I actually really loved that pick. And I also loved the Andre Cisco pick because, yes, he's a boom bust there patrolling deep. You're going to need to discipline this guy. He can't be so much of a freelancer, but he has got big play potential. But with the boom bust nature of these picks, I didn't want to give it like an A+, so I gave it an A-. And then the Chiefs, I gave it a solid B. I think they got solid starters, but not much upside. I like Nick Bolton. I like Creed Humphrey. These were their first picks of the draft altogether. Nick Bolton, I think he's going to be a fine starter. Maybe not a pro bowler. Creed Humphrey, I kind of feel the same way. Some people really like Creed Humphrey. I think he's better at guard, but he's probably going to compete at the center position. But yeah, overall, it's just a solid B. They did good. Nothing outstanding, though. And then the Chargers, speaking of outstanding, A+. Asante Samuel Jr. at 47 was exceptional value. At 77, Josh Palmer, great. I had him at 71 on my board. I didn't think the NFL was high on him when I did my mock. I didn't even bother putting him in because I didn't think anyone was thinking about him. I love his potential there with Herbert. That suddenly you get a very scary like receiving core with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and you just add this guy with ball skills, great athleticism. I love it. Trey McKitty, yeah, it is what it is. I had a 5th round grade on him, but I get it. He's a good red zone target. I think he's got great hands. More so, he's a blocking tight end, though. They didn't really use him a lot in the receiving game there at Georgia. Doesn't mean he can't do it. Just means we haven't seen a lot of it. I still love what they did. They addressed corner. They got some help at receiver. And then tight end, because really, who do they have at tight end? Not much. So, hey, solid job, man. I'm a big fan. And let's go over the other LA team. I gave him a D-. TUTU Atwell, I dropped to the 6th round. He's 149 pounds. I don't see how it works in the NFL. Then they went on and what did they do? They traded down, right? Let me see. Yeah, they traded down. And I was like, okay, this is good. And then they go Ernest Jones, who I think at best was a 5th rounder. I get it. They needed help in the linebacker position. He's a little athletic, but I don't think he's much anything else. Yeah, dude, I think this was probably easily the worst. Yeah, the worst picks of all of day 2 were here. I just didn't have I didn't have day 2 grades on any of these guys. I didn't even have 4th round grades on them. So, yeah, it's kind of bad. And then the Miami Dolphins, man, I was a little harsh on my Dolphins. I gave them a C+. Let me defend myself. I feel that this draft is very similar to last year's, where it was like, what are they doing? But it all kind of worked out, and I feel like this draft will be the same way. Like Javon Holland, I kind of saw more as a slot, and I like that he had that maybe that deep safety potential, which maybe that's what they're gonna hone. So maybe he's like a Devin McCourty in this defense. I didn't like them trading a future 3rd rounder to go up and get Liam Eichenberg when I had better offensive tackle talent still on the board. I don't even think Eichenberg's gonna end up playing tackle. I think they might move Robert Hunt to left guard. It might be Liam Eichenberg. It won't surprise me either way. So we'll see. We gave him a future 3rd rounder. And then they grabbed a Hunter Long. Like, he's nice. He's fine. I knew he was going to go higher than I had him. I had a 4th round grade on him. But, I mean, it's nothing special. I know Mike McGlinchey, he's in a contract year. And you're giving Tua a big body tight end. Huge catch radius. But, I mean, I don't think he's anything special at the tight end position. So, yeah, I gave him a nice C+. It's all right. I'm a fan. I'm a Dolphins fan. I can prove it. See? Come on, guys. Be on my side. No, there it goes on the ground. Minnesota Vikings, I gave them an A-, and I kind of didn't like 2 of their picks here. I may not be high on Kellen Mond. I appreciate them going and getting their guy. I think Kellen Mond, this is a good fit for them. Because not only does it give them some leverage on Kirk Cousins, where they can't be threatened, you know, next time he's a free agent. We're like, oh, fine, you ain't got no one quarterback, I'll sign elsewhere. Well, we actually have this guy now. And I think he really fits Minnesota's, they really love to do a play. They love to incorporate the play action. Kellen Mond, he will reap the rewards from that. He realistically could be a franchise quarterback for these guys. Chasserod, I was kind of like, whatever. I kind of pulled him out of the 3rd round, put a 4th round grade on, but I get it. Sideline to sideline athlete. All right, it's fine. Y. Davis, phenomenal pick. I had him at 44 or 43 on my overall big board. They get him right here. Fabulous. I don't like Patrick Jones. Not personally, but I don't like him as a prospect. Nothing special. Again, no wow to his game. He is just some guy. Lacks length and didn't really have a good win rate or pressure rate. Not at the Senior Bowl, not during his time there at Pitt. He was just kind of somebody. I had a 6th round grade on him. Some people, I saw people were kind of coming down on him. I'm surprised he still made it into the day 2, but he's here. I don't think he takes away from them moving up, getting Mond, and what Mond means, the type of leverage he gives them, and Wyatt Davis, because that offensive line looks good now. Yeah, I'd say it's above average. I like it. So A-, man. Good on y'all, Vikings. New England Patriots. As a Dolphins fan, I got to do that. But A+, man. They traded up, got Christian Barmore. I thought probably the weakest part, outside of, they could probably add some real playmakers to that wide receiver core. But I thought the interior was kind of a need. It was kind of thin. Christian Barmore comes in, immediately helps that. And then Ronnie Perkins at 96 is just extremely good value. You can't write it better than that. That's great value. All they really had to give up was a pair of their 4th rounders. And it was their last 2 4th rounders because they had 3 to give up. So, yeah, I think that was very solid. Good on you, Patriots. Yeah, I hate you. The New Orleans Saints, I gave them a solid B. Pete Werner and Paulson Adebo aren't prospects that I particularly am wild about. Both I had 4th round grades on. I get Paulson Adebo. He was, for all intents and purposes, a shutdown corner. Where he lost kind of was speed. There is a tackling issue there with him, but I get it. I get the potential, and you're bringing him in to be a cornerback too, next to Lattimore. That's fine. Werner, he's like a solid middle linebacker. That's about it. There's no real upside to him. I knew he was gonna come. He was gonna find his way into day 2. I didn't think the 2nd round though. So that kind of surprised me. And it's funny because Demario Davis came out and announced it, and this is the guy that's probably going to replace Demario Davis sometime somewhere down the stretch. But overall, I think these are solid picks though. Still solid. I gave it a B. And then the Raiders, I gave them a B. I think they started out strong, traded up, getting Trevon Merrick. I was like, wow, amazing. Imagine if you just flip Alex Leatherwood and Trevon Merrick, and then suddenly their draft looks a lot better, but somehow they get Merrick here. They trade up for him. And then Malcolm Koonce, I had a 6th round grade on. He's an older prospect. He might be a passing down only edge rusher. That's my opinion on him. Some people disagree. I know he was getting a lot of hype coming into the draft. Thank you, Mel Kiper. And then Divine Deablo, I like here, actually. I think he could be a solid linebacker. It'll be interesting how they incorporate him into this defense. But I like that they really address the defense, mainly pass rush, even though I was someone I disagree with. Merrick. Merrick kind of saves the grade because Malcolm Koonce, I kind of gave a D grade because I was like, he's over 100 picks the other way on my board. That's not a good pick. I'm sorry. So I thought it was a solid day 2 though with Merrick, and I think Deablo's got some potential. So yeah, good on y'all. Going to the New York Giants, I gave them an A. I love this. They trade down and get AZEEZ OJULARI still. Bam, there's your pass rush. I love AZEEZ. I know the concerns with the knees. We'll see somewhere down the stretch. Maybe that becomes a problem, but you get exceptional value. He was my edge 2 in this class. Great. And then they ended up grabbing Aaron Robinson, and I won't complain about them grabbing more talent to the secondary. Because you know what? This defense is going to be good. They found pass rush. Because keep in mind, they brought in Odinimbo. And they brought in Adoree Jackson. They have Darnay Holmes, Xavier, McKinney, whoever really wants to play in the slot there. And Aaron Robinson, who is a slot guy. They added to the two most vital positions on defense. Pass rush, coverage. Great. They did good. I like it. And trading down and getting AZEEZ is just amazing. So Aaron Robinson went a little higher than I thought. I thought they still should have probably addressed the offensive line. So that's why I docked the plus. But it could have easily been an A+. I might change it when I do my final grades. Elijah Moore for the Jets. I gave it an A. More so it's what they did with their third round picks. Considering how far guys like Wyatt Davis fell, I think I'd prefer Wyatt Davis in the third opposed to trading 2/3 to move up to get Elijah Vera Tucker in the first. That's just me, but it didn't dock the grade too much. I just took the plus off. That's it. Elijah Moore, fabulous. It's ridiculous. Jamison Crowder, I'm sorry. I don't see how you fit into this offense. This is a phenomenal pick. I love it. Wow, man, the AFC East is getting good. And then the Eagles, I went with the B. I thought this was solid. Really, Landon Dickerson, I get the injury concerns. You're looking to the future. Jason Kelsey, this is his heir apparent. So I understand that. And then they trade down, which was great. I love that. And they grabbed Milton Williams, who's solid. He honestly, you could put him like early downs, put him on edge. Like he's had one of the best pro days from a defensive tackle we've ever seen. You could put him on the edge realistically. Forget Derek Barnett, man. He hasn't really blossomed since his rookie season. And then kick him inside. Like you could do a lot of fun things with Milton Williams. I just wish they would have addressed the corner position because there was a big run on corners, but there were some good ones falling like Ifeatu Melifonwu. So that's kind of why I docked the grade because I feel like they added Milton Williams, but it was a position of strength already, and I had a guy like Ifeatu Melifonwu as a higher prospect. Yeah, and then the Steelers, I actually gave it an A. Pat Freiermuth, straight up, that's culture. That's a culture pick right there. They get a guy who actually has some hands. Actually, man, he had like an 8% drop rate. Maybe I think it was 7%. So slightly better hands than Eric Ebron. But yeah, he comes in. He's a really good blocking tight end. That will help Najee Harris. And what also helps Najee Harris is the phenomenal value that Kendrick Green was. He's going to be the center. When he was interviewing, a lot of teams told him they were viewing him as a center. He can't play guard. Probably won't play guard. Yes, they could address tackle. They could go out and get, again, another name. One that's quite familiar to Pittsburgh fans. Alejandro Villanueva. He's pretty solid, and suddenly that offensive line, it looks solid as well. With Pat Freiermuth, with Green. Now Big Ben just needs to play well. So I like what they did here. I gave it an A. On to the San Francisco 49ers. I gave it a C-. I'm going to be frank with you guys. None of these guys I have as day 2 talents. Sermon was a 4th rounder. Banks was like a fringe 4th, 5th rounder. And I'm not that high on Ambry Thomas. I know some people like him. I don't think he's a better prospect than Lavert Hill. And he went in the 7th. So that's where I put Ambry Thomas. Yeah, I mean, I like that they traded down. But then they took Aaron Banks like at 48. He is a high floor, no ceiling type of prospect. Some of y'all may like the pick. I like Trey Sermon. I had other guys that like Michael. I thought Michael Carr may have been a better pick just because of the passing upside. For me, Khalil Herbert has a bit more upside than Sermon, but you could say they're very similar. Or very close on my board, but yeah, I just wasn't digging it, man. I gave it a C-. Sorry, San Fran. And then the Seattle Seahawks, they get a D+. Dwayne Eskridge. They really just, honestly, they needed to trade down. Like Eskridge, I had a 5th round grade on. So technically they didn't screw up as much as the Rams did in my eyes. But I really think they needed to trade down. They needed to acquire more picks. I get the Eskridge pick though. I get it. They're trying to make more of a horizontal underneath scheme for Wilson. Eskridge helps with that. But does he? So yeah, I gave it a D+. On to Tampa Bay, I gave him an A+, and you might think it's crazy. I think it's crazy too. But Kyle Trask, that honestly, it's an A+ for Trask, man. He gets to be tutored by freaking Tom Brady. Who knows? He might be sitting until his rookie deal is done. We'll see. But Kyle Trask, hey, I think value for a quarterback. If you go, yeah, it's great. It's just good. Like I had a 3rd round grade on him, but if you're gonna take him a round earlier, it's the quarterback position. That's something you do. And then Robert Hainsey is, I like this pick a lot. He gives them so much depth on the offensive line. A guy that can play center, that can play guard, that can play tackle. So he is just very good depth. He could even start. He might be their center of the future because Ryan Jensen, he's a free agent after this season. And he had a kind of a down year. But, man, yeah. Man, I think that was really solid. That's why I gave it an A+, man. I really liked day 2 for him. And then, finally, I still got 2 more teams. Tennessee Titans, I gave them an A+ as well. Dylan Radins, amazing pick. He fell right here for him. He is the polar opposite of what they had in Isaiah Wilson. So that's already a plus, and I think he's immediately your right tackle. Monty Rice, they actually, I believe, traded. Yeah, they traded down from this. I liked Monty Rice. I had him as a late 3rd rounder. Kind of fits. I actually like him already. I think he brings more than Rashad Evans already does. But also Jason Brown, or Jayon Brown, there we go, is a free agent. He only signed a 1-year deal. So he's a free agent after this season. And then Elijah Molden, I had him at like 40, 41 on my board. Great value. And suddenly the secondary looks a lot better with, you got Janoris Jenkins, Christian Fulton, who they spent a 3rd rounder on last year. Elijah Molden, Kevin Johnson, and then Caleb Farley. Like suddenly it's like there's optimism in the secondary. I like it. And then the Washington football team, I gave an A+ as well. I'm just doling out these A+. We ended the video on a positive note. Samuel Cosme, I thought could have been a 1st rounder, if not at the very least an early 2nd. He falls to 51. They pick him up. Doesn't have to start right away, but he does have the flexibility to move to guard, and he could play either tackle spots. So you could really call his number whenever, or maybe he wins the left tackle spot, or maybe you move on from Morgan Moses sometime after this season. Maybe not. I don't know. You feel good, though, with a guy like Cosme on the roster. Benjamin St. Juste, maybe a bit of a reach. He was 90 on my board, but I understand there was this huge run of corners. Fatu Melifonwu, maybe might not have been a perfect fit here, so they grab a guy that can do press. I'm not going to complain if you're going to add talent to the corner position. I would have taken De'Ami Brown at 51. Yeet City is still alive. Ryan Fitzpatrick shedded 1 tear on this day after that 82nd pick and was like, yes, I will yeet the ball downfield. Yeah, A+. I really like how Washington's done this draft. They know they're not looking for a quarterback till probably next year. Maybe Tyler Heineke pulls a Tom Brady and has to come in for an injured Ryan Fitzpatrick. And who knows, maybe he is that guy. But, yeah, good on y'all. Good on y'all, Washington. It was a solid draft, solid day 2 for y'all. But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember, these were only day 2 grades, not taking into account day 1. So, yeah, indulge in that nice football Discord. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.